Hey everyone, Sarah and Jonathan here from an FBG Live.
Hello.
We're having a lovely ride out in the sunshine. It's our first ride out of the year. We've had a little ride around Nottinghamshire, we've dipped into Lincolnshire and Yorkshire. If you want to see that video, you can see that up in the corner here. You come on a little ride with us in the beautiful sunshine. You can see a canal built by the Romans. You can see an old manor house, 500-year-old manor house. So do go and check that one out and have a little ride with us.
You can see some unusual cars.
Yeah, John is doing his bit of car spotting, as he likes to do. But in this video, I thought I would talk about why I don't ride a motorbike. Jonathan's done his video on why he does. You can check that one out on the channel as well. But I thought I would do one about why I don't. And that is not for lack of trying, I have to say. So yeah, I sit on the back of our Goldwing, but I did try and get my motorbike licence, so I thought you might be interested in that story and why I didn't get it and why I'm probably not ever going to get it. So when I first met Jonathan, I'd never been on a motorbike, and you had a Kawasaki Versys that's still in the garage.
Still in the garage, yeah.
It's still in the garage. And I don't know who suggested it, but either I said, oh yeah, I'd like to go out on the back of that and let's have a little ride out on the motorbike. Never been on the back of a motorbike. So before we could do that, Johnny was insistent that I get the proper gear. So we went off to the motorbike shop in the town where we lived, and I got some trousers and a jacket and some boots and some gloves and a helmet. And we went out on the back. I don't remember where we went now.
No, I don't remember either. It can't have been far.
No. It's not the most comfortable bike to sit on the back on, so 45 minutes is about a limit. We did go further than that, but it was a bit painful. Yeah. And so I guess I thought, well, it would be fun if I rode my own bike and we could go out together. And being up for an adventure at that point in my life, I said, why don't I go and learn to ride a bike? So in the UK, to ride a bike, you need to first do a CBT. I can't remember what CBT stands for.
Compulsory basic training.
Compulsory basic training. So just a day's training just to say that you're safe on the road, because obviously you can't ride with somebody, so that you know the rules of the road and that you're going to be safe on the road, and then you can go out and learn to ride on a bike. So in this country we have L plates on our bikes, so L for learner. Cars have it as well, so until you've passed your car test you have to drive around with an L plate on the back. So in order to do that on a motorbike, you have to pass your CBT. So you go and do that with a motorbike training place. I think it was only a day, is that right?
I don't remember. It was very different when I took my licence.
So I found somebody local to us and I went and did that. And because I'd already done a lot of driving, I had a lot of road knowledge because I was already an experienced car driver. So it's basically just making sure that you're safe on the bike and you can handle the bike, and you're checking your blind spot, making sure nobody's coming up behind you. So I did that and I got my CBT, which meant I could go out and practice. Now you can go two routes at this point. You can do an intensive course where you go every day and you ride all day long, and then you take your test at the end of that set period of time. So it's probably, I think it was a week that you're riding, like the whole week, every day, all day for the whole week. And I had a lovely lady on my course. I'm trying to remember her name, and I think she was Susan. And we did it together. And she went off and we did our CBT together, and she went off and did the intensive course. Now she wanted to get her licence because she went out riding with her husband or her partner, and was a little bit worried about if anything happened to him, they would be stuck somewhere. So she thought, if I get my licence and I can ride the bike. That was her thinking behind it. And I thought, oh yeah, that's quite a good idea. I hadn't thought about that, but... So she went and did the intensive course, and I didn't. I thought, I'm going to take my time a bit, I'm going to get myself a motorbike and we can go out, we can practice on it, and then I'll take it later. Really a cost thing. It was quite expensive to do the intensive course. So I went home and we got me a little motorbike. So we got a Honda...
CBF 125, I think, was it? CBF 125?
Yeah, so.
I guess so, yeah. It has to be a 125. That's the the highest CC you can have on an L plate in the UK.
And we went and bought it off a young lad, hadn't we? He passed his test and thought he'd manage on it for a bit, and then as soon as he passed his I don't want this little old thing.
Yeah.
It was upgraded, but it was a lovely bike, wasn't it? It was nearly new bike.
It was. I rode it back from the place with the bloke we bought it from. It just felt so small and slow and light.
It was really one of those things.
But it was they're lovely bikes, nice enough bikes, aren't they?
Yeah. So we did a little bit of practice and we went out on the bikes together, and I think Jonathan was very protective of me most of the time. I remember you kind of riding behind me and riding out in the road so that people kept away from me, basically. You made yourself big in the road. And
it's slightly worrying at times. People don't give enough space to learners, and it's like learners aren't. You can't predict what they're going to do. And they can either, like, if it's on a bike, they can fall off. They could cause you damage in your car if you're following them too closely. And not only that, but it can cause a lot of anxiety if you're new to riding, and you've got loads of cars buzzing around you really close. So yeah, I did try to sort of protect Sarah a bit. We did buy an intercom, didn't we? Or was that...
We didn't have one at that point.
We didn't have one at that time. Oh, okay. Maybe we should have done.
Yeah, because Jonathan's obviously got much faster bike than I had, and sometimes he'd disappear off over the horizon. We lived on the top of a big hill, and I could only go one speed up this hill. And that was slow.
Yeah, but you get there in the end, don't you?
Yeah, so anyway, to cut a long story short, we went out a few times on it. And then I went and had some lessons. I can't remember how many I had. So I went back to this company where I'd done my CBT training with. And I had some lessons in preparation to do the test. So I had to do a theory test. That was a more modern invention. I didn't have to do that when I took my car license, but I did my theory test and I passed that fine. And then I went to get some days training for this test. So we would go out riding together, you would have communication with the instructor, and you'd go, just ride around. It wasn't a brilliant place to ride where we lived. It had a lot of kind of ring roads and busy roads, and...
That's how you learn, though.
Yeah, but I didn't learn, and it just put me off, and I got quite scared, and I came off the bike a few times. Even the road where we lived was a steep road onto the main road with gravel, and you put your foot out and the bike's out under, and you're down before you know it, and it dents your confidence. You know, you can't even stay upright on the bike. You're just like, how am I ever going to do this? And once you've got it in your head that you can't do it, it's a little bit hard to undo that. And I can't quite remember the sequence of events now, but somehow I got put in for my test and I wasn't really ready. And then I discovered later you could actually go and have a practice run around the test centre. But nobody suggested that to me, and that might be a thing I wanted to do. And I won't mention the company I did this with because I don't think they were very good, really. They didn't suit me anyway. And I just put in for my test without really knowing what was going on, and I basically panicked, and I wasn't safe, and I was scared. And
was there part 1 and part 2 back then? So part 1 is start through the cones, and then part 2 is on the road.
Yeah, I think there was 2 parts, and I didn't get past the part 1 because I actually dropped the bike on the test, which is obviously an instant fail because you're not in control of your bike and you're not safe. And that was really, really quite traumatic. I was very upset about that. And then he was just like, well, we all get back on the bike and we carry on. That same day, we left the test centre and we went for more riding. And I was so shaken up and I was so upset by the whole experience, I couldn't ride. And I think I dropped the bike again. And I just sort of had enough. I can't ride anymore today. So he said, you go back to the bike centre and we'll carry on, and you go back there. And I remember that being a really scary journey. I was just on my own, and I had this not very nice experience, and I was a bit upset. But I got back to the test, the bike training centre, and I rang Jonathan up and said, I can't ride the bike back, I've had enough. So you came in the car with the keys and your bike stuff, and I drove the car home, and Jonathan took the bike home.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the beginning of the end for me, really. I lost my confidence. I should have picked it up and got back on it and gone, I'm going to do this thing. Found somebody else who would have suited me better. Maybe a bit of one-on-one training. Somebody who's a bit gentler with me rather than just going, right, get back on, we're all going to go off together, and not just leave me on my own and tell me to get back to the riding centre. And I didn't really want to go out. We didn't have a reason to go out. I wasn't working. I was working from home. So we didn't have a reason to get on it, and I just didn't get on it. And I was just too scared of it, I think. And maybe in hindsight, I should have started with a little moped. Yeah, you're good, right? And worked my way up to it. I think I tried to do too much too soon. There's so much to think about when you... anyone watching this will probably know that's not news to them. And I didn't want to do it anymore, and then we sold the bike.
Yeah.
And
that's okay, because you didn't really lose any money on it, so...
No, and a young lad got it who wanted to use it for going to work, and he was excited to learn, so it went to a nice home, and I'm happy, and I had a go at it, but I do often think maybe I should have another go. It would be fun to be able to do it, and I think if I know now that I need to take it a little bit slower, get somebody who's a little bit more patient maybe, or a bit more understanding of how difficult I found it. But then I think back to my friend who I did the CBT with and say, if my husband can't ride it, I can ride it. And I just thought, now we've got this Goldwing, there's no way I could ride this. Even if I can ride a motorbike and I've got my test, there's no way. I don't think I can ride this. I tried to reverse it into the garage and panic to it. Oh. It's that car. Ugh.
There's Austin Healey. Austin Healey Sprite.
And go back through Clember Park, down the beautiful Lime Tree Avenue. We've been here lots if you've seen our videos.
Oh, there's two bikes up ahead.
That was so rude not to, and there was one behind us going to come past.
Yeah.
And there's no way I could ride this bike if anything happened to Jonathan and I couldn't ride it. So we joined the local AA, not the local,
local AA.
International
Yeah.
AA, which is not Alcoholics Anonymous. What does it stand for?
Automobile Association.
So if anything happens to Jonathan, they could come and get us and they could take us home. Because I'm not riding. It's just too big for me, too heavy, and I wouldn't be able to do it.
Slightly disappointing because I wouldn't mind being strapped to the back of it and being taken for a ride.
I'm not putting that in the video. So that's kind of my story in brief. I tried it. I found it very difficult. I didn't really find the right way of doing it. Should have gone for something smaller, maybe something automatic to start, because you've just got to balance. I've got good roadcraft. I think I'm quite a good car driver, but there's so much more to think about on a motorbike, and I found it very difficult, and I got scared and I got frightened, and it put me off, and I never did it again. So if anybody else watching, if their partners have had that experience, or if themselves had that experience, and you just watch thinking, I'd like to do it but I can't, maybe you've got some, I don't know, comforting words. Because I would like to have done it. I often sort of regret saying, I wish I could do it, and I wish I had done it. So you never know, maybe one day. But
what do you think about being on a bike though?
I really enjoy it. Especially one that I can sit on for longer than 45 minutes.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, I love being on the back, but I'm conscious that Jonathan has to do all the riding and he has to do all the effort. So if we're going up to Scotland, I just sit on the back really, and we can't share the load. If we were going in a car, we would share the driving, which we always do when we're driving anyway. We would share the driving. So if you are a riding instructor, perhaps, and you're watching this, and you're in Nottinghamshire, or you're a riding instructor somewhere else, and got any advice or suggestion on a good way to learn for those that are a bit scared of learning, because I'd still like to do it, even if we don't get our own bikes, because I don't think there's any point me getting a bike and following this.
No, we had we went out for the day to the Superbike factory at Donington a few weeks ago, didn't we? Which is it's a massive used bike showroom. They have a number of massive showrooms throughout the UK, and they have this one at Donington Circuit, which where we went the other day. And we just wander around and just window shop all the bikes for sale. And there was a little scooter, wasn't there? Some kind of Piaggio, sort of Vespa-y type. I don't know what it was, but that kind of took your fancy, didn't it?
It did take my fancy. I thought I could manage that.
Yeah.
I could put my feet down on that without falling off.
And I thought, that's great, because then I could sit on the back and Sarah can take me out for days.
We could go find some little cafes. We probably wouldn't go very far. But, so that might be fun. We might do that one day when we got a bit more time on our hands.
Well, yeah, just ride it for a few times, and if you don't like it, sell it on.
Yeah, exactly. But we're enjoying being on the back of the Goldwing, and it's nice to do this together and be on the same bike and not watch Jonathan disappearing off over the horizon without me. He can't get away if I'm on the back.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So we just come into the end of Lime Tree Avenue. Just a quick one for you, just to share my story. Be interested to hear your thoughts on it. Be kind to me.
Yeah, because I think you put an effort. You made an effort.
I did.
You made an effort. You know, you made the investment. Just didn't quite work, did it?
Yeah, I fell off a lot of times in the course of learning to ride. So.
And I think maybe you could have. Well, not that means this is a criticism, but it could have got out on the bike more had we had more time to do things, and more reason to get out on the bikes and learn. That might have been better for you.
It would, yeah. But you've got to be brave enough to take that step to go. I'm going to go and get on this thing, and had these experiences, but weren't particularly great, and I just got scared of it and didn't want to do it.
Because when I was learning, I had a 125, and I had friends who were bikers. Yeah. And we'd go out, you know, and it was there was always a reason. There was always a reason to be going out biking with friends. Okay, they were disappearing off over the horizon with me, but you know, we at least had a reason to get out on two wheels and practice.
Yeah.
Hey-ho.
Okay, so we're going to wrap this one up, folks. Thanks for watching and listening to me rambling on about my biking woes. Hopefully this weather will stick with us and we'll be out for more rides soon, so do keep watching. It's great to have you along with us. And this is Jonathan and Sarah signing out. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
I thought you were a little bye on the end.